Hi, everyone. Ann Butler here with Bella Crafts Publishing. Lisa is not with me today. She is traveling to the mountains, I believe, and she will be back next week. So I am coming to you with just a quick project. Um, I know I had done a recycled project last time I was live, and I'm doing another one. I think we all have a lot of things as we sort through, and you think, do I get rid of it? Can I make something from it? Do I donate it? And I am currently going through tons of stuff, trying to figure out what to do with everything. And it's been an interesting process. I have a lot of things that I think, okay, this is something that's really good. I don't need it. So I will donate it or find a group to give it to, or I'll put it on eBay or do a whatnot. And then I have some things that I keep just because they mean something to me. I'm sure we all have that. Hey, Isabel. Hi, Helen. So, in the process of doing these water bottle bracelets, I I started out with one thing in mind, cleaning up my closet, going through t-shirts I don't need anymore, and that was what I was gonna use. And then when I woke up this morning, I had just remembered that I've been going through things in my sewing room, and I have fabric in which I started projects with my stamps or my stencils, but they didn't turn out how I wanted, and I thought, "I could use those too." So we're just gonna play and have fun, and as for water bottles, like, I have all kinds, all sizes and shapes, and there are a lot of ways to cut these bracelets to make them your own. I'm going to show you the way I do it, and then I'll tell you about how other people do it too, because you want to do it what's gonna be easiest for you. But water bottle bracelets, as I said, they've been around forever. And I think the first time I made one was about 15 years ago. But since it's almost summer and I have lots of grandkids, I thought that this would be a good craft for them to do when they come to the house. So that's why I decided to do it and share with you guys how you can upcycle and make something with your old stash or the stash that you haven't gotten rid of yet. So I am going to flip the camera down and get started. Unless, if you guys have any questions, I'm going to try to catch them in the comments, but otherwise, I'll look through them at the end. And I hope you're all doing good and enjoying some beautiful weather. We're still kind of waiting on the beautifulness here, but it's fine. I love all seasons. So, I especially love summer and spring and fall, not winter so much. But I like warmth. So, I'm going to switch my camera, and I have a ruler there only because I was testing to make sure everything was going in the right direction so you guys would see everything the right way. So, like I said, to get started, first thing you're going to need is some water bottles. And they come in all shapes and all sizes. And a lot of people, when they're doing water bottle bracelets, they'll take masking tape so they have a perfectly straight line. And then they will take an X-Acto and cut along that line. But when I do that, you end up with a perfect cylinder, but sometimes they're too big or they're too small. So instead, what I do is I will take and I will actually cut my water bottle. You have this left if you want to use it for water when you're doing painting. And I know that this is going to be too small. It wouldn't be too small for some of my granddaughters, but for me, it's going to be kind of tight. But I don't mind going up and cutting that. And right where the ridge is, I'm going to cut again. And that way I have, maybe 4 inches of plastic to use. Now, because this is a very tight bottle, it would make great slap bracelets. But then I will take and put this on my paper trimmer and trim it, and then I'll trim 1 inch or 2 inch, 3/4 inch, however wide you want your bracelets to be. I generally go with 1 inch. But then that way they're perfectly straight. When I do it with an X-Acto knife, it's crooked, and then I got to come in with my scissor and I got to trim it anyways. This way, using my paper trimmer, I get it perfectly straight. And while this one is too small, this bottle is too big. So when I cut this one and trim it down, I'll use my ruler to decide how wide I need it. And I'll trim a little section off of here, and I can add it to this one to make cylinders. So I will do that with several water bottles. So I just have them on hand and make little cylinders. So like you can see here, I just take some permanent tape and run it on there to create my cylinder for my bracelet. And that makes it perfect. I have my hot glue gun here. I'm going to turn it on. The reason I don't use hot glue when I'm putting the band together, it's going to take a minute for that to heat up. But I'm going to cut a piece of this here for you, just so I can show you why I use the permanent tape or red liner tape, something like that, to attach this rather than the hot glue gun. It's going to take a minute for it to heat up because it actually melts the plastic. And you don't want that. I mean, you don't want to put the hot glue directly on your plastic water bottle. Isabel, you had a really sunny day lately? That's nice. I would love, the sun is trying to come out. It's cloudy here. I don't care as long as it's not cold. So this one, like I said, is a little small. And then with this bottle, it's a little wide. So I cut off a little piece of that and add on either side to make a bracelet with this one. You can see this one is just tiny, but you can see I added just a little bit on there and extended it by about 1 inch. So to get started, you're going to want to go through your closet, maybe, and look through old t-shirts you might not wear. This is what I have left from this particular t-shirt as I was cutting it up. I have the sleeves left, which I can use if I want a green bracelet. And this t-shirt was kind of a gray, and it had a graphic on it, but the graphic wasn't sublimated. It had to have been a painted on graphic. So it was really hard and stiff, and I didn't like that. So I threw that part out. I didn't know that it would be as hard and stiff as it was. Then I did another t-shirt that was much thinner. This is the sleeve that's left from it. It was a lighter weight, thinner t-shirt. And what was lovely about this one was the design it had was sublimated, so it didn't change the feel of the fabric at all. So when you're doing something like this, you want to make sure that if there is something printed on it, that it doesn't change the feel of the fabric. Because in this gray and green one, when I was wrapping the fabric around my water bottle, it was so hard and stiff, I didn't like it, so I threw it all away, which was fine because it was a shirt I was never going to wear again anyhow. But this one, it's sublimated right on there, so this is perfect. And the feel is nice. So when I do this, I cut into strips, not even perfect strips. Like this is just a little over an inch. And then this one, you can really tell is not perfect at all. But this one is wider. It's maybe, well, I got my ruler here. It's about an inch and a half in some places. And this one is closer to about an inch and an eighth. That doesn't matter so much. You can see with this, I'm wider in some areas and thinner in some. And then with the pink, I tried to go wider. I'll just fold the shirt and I'll cut through several layers at once so that it makes it quick, and it doesn't have to be perfect. But then when I was thinking about this morning, I remembered going through this weekend, I was going through a lot of my fabric and rearranging and cleaning my totes out in that room, which is much needed. Isabel, I haven't recycled t-shirts for bracelets. I have cut them up for jersey yarn, which is perfect. I love that. That's a good idea too. So this is some projects that I was doing to test things. So these are some of my stamps. So I was testing, and the fabric is beautiful. I didn't want to throw this away, so I kept this. And I actually tore strips off and created this bracelet with this, which I think is beautiful. Whereas for the t-shirt ones, this is the beginning of a t-shirt one, but it's just the t-shirt material. Whereas I thought this, let me see if I can get it. You can pick up that design and everything from this. And I thought that was beautiful. So that's why I keep a lot of things when I'm testing. The reason I wouldn't have used this for a pillow would be because some areas didn't have a good enough impression, but it's perfect to use in other projects. So I always save all of my play stuff. And now you know why. So this, I was testing inks and glitter and layering things. Same with this. And I'll show you this is what I did with this one. And this is beautiful all on its own without adding anything else. This is just simply tearing this apart and wrapping it to create this beautiful bracelet. And I would wear this all by itself even without adding any embellishments. We're going to embellish some, but I just thought taking a little tiny piece of scrap that I was playing with really made this stand out. I'm trying to see, so you can see that glitter and that shimmer from that paint. And I love that the glitter's in there because it just makes it sparkle. And of course, we were shown how to cut. Okay, wait a minute as well. How to cut it for yarn during BellaCon. Yes, you were. The teal and turquoise. I know, isn't that gorgeous? So don't throw away like when you're playing, unless you don't have a lot of room. Keep all your fun stuff. I mean, this is just me playing, trying to see what colors worked well together. And then this one is with one of my background stamps and then the ink over it. So that's what those are. This is some of my background builders, but it didn't line up properly. So I did not use this for a block in a baby quilt I was doing. So I did a baby quilt with my rails. And while some of them I had lined up perfectly, I didn't like that little tiny edge right there, which once it's quilted, you wouldn't notice. But I set it aside. I did another one real quick. And now I have this left to play with. This is, I was trying to do a blending technique with inks and one of my stencils from Stencil Girl. And I did a pillow out of one of these, but I have the extras and I kept them. And so maybe I would use this for a bracelet. So just go through what you have. Fabric is always good if you're cleaning out your closet. And then this is the one I think I want to do today, or the black one. But this is left over from a project I did where I did blended background and I inked up. It's going the wrong way. I inked up with all my artsy stamps. And I did this on a denim jacket. So I inked all of this up. I stamped all the stamps and then I quilted it on a denim jacket. And this is a piece that I have left. Now I think this would make an awesome bracelet. And then more black and the metallic paints. But this one, again, I was just playing, but I didn't like the gap that I had here. So even though you're playing, what you've played with will always make something really cool, because this would make cool journal covers, all sorts of things. Hey, Karen. And I have this one. I did a pillow out of this. And when I was doing the pillow, I took this piece just to test out my designs and my colors. So this gap wasn't from me making a mistake. It was me trying out the different stamps and the different colors in different areas. But this is also a really cool one that you can use. So to get started, first I'm going to show you the couple t-shirt ones I've done. They're not finished, but I'm going to show you how to get started. Now, I take one of my round. Okay, my heat gun is on. Before I get started, I want to show you what it looks like if you go directly on the plastic. Okay, so you don't want to use your heat gun directly on the plastic because it melts. Did you see that? it melted. I'm going to use my glue gun. Sorry, I didn't mean heat gun. I meant glue gun. I'm going to use my glue gun, but you don't ever put it directly on the plastic because see, it melted it all up, and that wouldn't be good for a bracelet. It would distort it all, unless you wanted it distorted. I mean, I don't know. But I have taped these together with a permanent tape runner. So they'll stay and they're nice and tight. And then on the inside of my bracelet, I take and go around and just apply tape, about 6 or 7 times. So that is where my fabric is going to catch. I'm going to, I think the pink will show up better for you. And this is when I cut it, there is no end. So I'm just going to cut it at one of the seams. And you can make these, like I said, between 3/4 of an inch, 2 inches. The wider you make it, the less you have to wrap around. And I'm going to find where I overlapped. And I'm just going to put that in there. And that tape is just going to hold it in place and secure it. It's a permanent tape, so it will do just fine with the fabric and for what we're doing. And then we're just wrapping. And you're just going to wrap the entire thing. And I only go around once. You could go around twice if you want it a little heavier, but I don't think it's necessary. I have tried doubling it up, but I don't think it makes that much of a difference at all. So I just go all the way around until it's around the entire bracelet, like this one. So with this, you get the nice lines, you get that cool way it looks, and then this is where I take, when I do my final step, I'm going to show you. Then I take my glue gun and I add just a titch of glue onto the fabric itself. Very little. If it wants to come up, there we go. I don't add a lot. I use very little, and I give it a second before I lightly tap it onto the fabric. It's not going directly against the plastic, so it's not melting it, but that way it's securing it really nicely. While this permanent tape works great on the plastic and to wrap the fabric itself, it's not going to hold the fabric to fabric. That's why I need the glue gun. But that's how you create just a simple bangle. You can do whatever you want with it at this point. I have a cream one here, and then I have the gray one here, and I'm going to show you how I added this texture because that makes it pretty cool. And that's where, as Isabel mentioned, taking the t-shirt, and if you pull it, you get this great fabric that is more like a string, and you pull it, and you can knit with it, you can crochet with it, you can do all sorts of things, but that's what I did to create that texture. Now I have a pink one here that I also did, and I was going to show you. I was going to come in here and I'm going to add again, just a titch of glue to the fabric itself. And then I'm going to add this to the inside of my bracelet. Like that. And then I'm going to take this and go in between all of the gray where I have the stretchy fabric. I'm going to put the pink in between, and I'm trying to make sure that the flat side is against the bracelet and that the open curled side is showing on the outside. So this one is thinner than the gray one was, so I have to work with it just a little bit more. But just wrapping it like that. So that's going to give it more depth and more color. And it's just kind of fun. I mean, I could see the kids having fun doing this. You could do this. I have in the past done braided ones where I put braiding on top of this, but I thought with the t-shirt fabric and to give it a second color, this would work really well. And you can, every now and again, add just a titch of the glue on there, and you're going fabric to fabric. That just secures it as you're going around. And it'll keep it from moving once you're putting it on and off. You don't have to do it every time you go around, just every now and then. See if that light. And this is a quick process. And they're just fun and cute bracelets. I mean, nothing's better than a quick project that looks good, right? And you're using up supplies. It's so effective. You could stitch on some amazing embellishments. Yes, you could, Isabel. There's so much you can do with this. I have got some buttons and stuff over here that I'm going to share with you guys. So there's so much you can do with it. And you could do, like if you had some fabric that had embroidery already on it and it was something that you were never going to wear again, that's something also that you could use. So it's really, you're only limited by what you have and your imagination. And what you have, I mean, you can use anything for these. So it's not limiting too much in that way. So I just want to make sure that one's turned that way. And then I'm going to trim this. I'll trim it a little bit shorter. And then I'm going to add, again, the glue. Like that. But isn't that cute? I mean, that's cute all by itself, I think. But I think you can go even further. I had die cut some little tiny scallop circles. And I think you could take 3 or 4 layers of this and a fun button and add that on there. Or you could just add the button on there. So there's so much you can do. You can add a big button. You can add covered buttons if you have the stuff for a covered button. What do you guys think so far? It's a cute idea. Where did you get, what do you use for the base again? It's a water bottle, Karen. So you just cut it into like 1-inch strips. And this water bottle is, of course, too wide, so wide. And then the one that I cut up was too narrow. And this one is a little narrow, maybe. So I cut them like this, and I'll add a section on if I need to make the bangle. So I want to show you guys how I did these two, which I think are my favorite so far. I mean, the t-shirt ones are really cool, and they will be fun for the kids to do, right? They're super cute, they're fun, they're quick, and easy for the kids to do. So I'm going to take this one apart that I started. I didn't finish it because I wanted to reuse it. So I'm going to take that one apart, and I'm going to show you how I use that little tiny piece of fabric for this one. So this one is actually, I was playing with a jelly plate. So I was doing make and takes at a show, and we were creating little booklets. And I would take and clean off my jelly plate completely, and I would get some of these beautiful textures. So to do this one, all I did, I mean, because this is only about not even 5.5 by about 7.25. And I would take and cut this in about 1-inch strips. About. They don't have to be perfect, right? I mean, and then I would tear it because I like the raw edges. If you don't like the raw edges, then you would cut it. And then I know this one took 3 strips, and what I did was I just, again, took my glue gun, put some glue there, and added my pieces to make a longer piece. Because this raw edge isn't going to matter because you're wrapping over it. As you're wrapping, you want to make sure you're covering. And this one, again, just add a little bit of the glue. And overlap that. Oops, I guess I didn't add enough glue to this one, or push it down hard enough. There we go. So then you have a long enough strip to wrap around. So once you do this, it would look like this. But I want to take this piece and see what this is going to turn out like. So for this piece, it looks like over on this edge, it looks like I've torn it because it looks like a really good tear right there. Whereas this edge is all wonky. So I'm going to go from this side, and I'm going to go about 1.25 inches. Just give that a little cut, and let me see if it's on the straight of grain. I love to rip fabric. There we go. That looks right. So this is the one I'm going to share with you. And this is the one that I had already taped, but I'm going to put some more tape because I had started the t-shirt one on here. And I want to make sure that it sticks. So I'm just putting tape every 1.5 inches, 2 inches. It's just to help secure whatever it is you're wrapping. Isabel, isn't the gel press just the funnest? Yes, I think the gel press is amazing. So with this, again, I'm going to start at a bit of an angle. You can see that, just a little angle. And I'm going to come down and bring this through. And this is actually, if you were, I don't know that you'd ever make just a bunch of these, but this is relaxing. You could do at night in front of the TV if you were prepping for a class and you're doing a bunch or something. But this to me is relaxing. And you never know what that pattern is going to turn out like. So if you don't already have samples that you've been working with and playing with, again, clothing, recycling your clothing that you're never going to wear. Don't, I have for years, for as long as I can remember, before I throw something out, I would always take off all the buttons. I mean, if it was something that wasn't good enough to give away to somebody, but I would take the buttons off, and that's where I have a lot of my buttons from. And sometimes I take the pockets off. I have so many denim pockets because I just couldn't stand to see them thrown away, because pockets, you can use them for so many different crafts. And that's why I had to clean out my sewing room, reorganize it a little bit so that I could see everything I have. Wow, this is going to be almost. I'm a little bit shy. It was almost perfect. So I'm going to take and cut another piece, like right there. Because you don't want to try and, well, you could, if you're going to put something on top of this, you could just end it right here and then put a big flower or something. But I just want it to be right. So I'm just putting a little glue on there. And I'm matching this up and pressing so it stays and it's flat. Like with a glue gun, sometimes if you put too much, it's not flat unless you press it with your fingers. So going to bring that like that and trim this here and add just a little bit of glue to finish it off like that. Now there I got a little bit more glue, so I want to be careful that I don't burn myself. So I'm just tapping it. I don't know if you can see that very well. I like that. I think this one and the black one, because they're metallic, might be my favorites. But I was thinking for this black one, like I grabbed a bunch of buttons out for the t-shirts, and then I grabbed some buttons out for this black one. See, we could put this one on there, and that'd be pretty. We could do just a plain, just a knob. I kind of like that too. Something like that. A bigger knob. So like I have this big knob, and then I have these two smaller ones. You could do something like that. That might be kind of cute. So to do this, I have a shank remover, is what I call it. I am not sure what the official name for this is, but I have always called it a shank remover. When I look up shank remover, I can never find it. So I'm not sure what this is called, but it works perfectly for taking the shanks off of a button. Although this is an older button. I gotta see if that's, yeah, that's just inside there. So for plastic buttons, it works great because you can just go back and forth. This is actually metal inside here, so it might take a little bit more doing. The metal is inside the button. But it does get a hold of the shank so that you're able to work with it and bend it and move it. I'll show you how easy it works on a plastic one in a minute. But that way, see, this is a piece of wire. This was actually threaded inside there. But like if you're doing this on a plastic button, you can just grab it and twist, and that shank is gone. So it makes it flat, so you're able to use it on a project, which I love. So I think, what do you think? I think that would look cute. Or this one, because it has the black too. I'm going to give you guys a minute to answer. The bracelets are amazing. Thank you, Isabel. My aunt and grandma did that. That is why I inherited so many. Yes, Karen, I know that. It is amazing what we learn through the years and how great it can be to bring all of those talents from our ancestors forward. So let me see. If I was going to do one here, I don't think I'd want just a plain button. I mean, this one, I already have the thread on it. But I don't think I'd want just a plain button. I might like that. But then again, you can do anything you want. You can cut little bits. You can do a variety. Like, I think I might like that one on there. So, but I am going to go ahead and glue this one onto here. I'm going to look and see where I want it. I think I want it right here so that the print part shows up much better. And I'm going to, again, use the hot glue gun, and I'm going to apply the glue, and I'm going to wait just a second. I'm not going to, you wouldn't apply it directly onto the water bottle. So I'm going to give it just a second to cool down a titch, and then I'm going to press it firmly so it stays. And it didn't melt. So I think that's cute. So many possibilities. I do like the t-shirts because you can add texture and you can add all the fun stuff. So for this one, I think I am going to add a little glue. And I think maybe I'll fold these to give them some little bit of depth. Maybe do a couple of those on there. Put some glue in it and then on it. I'm just playing, so we'll see what happens. But I'm just trying to make it stand up a little bit more. I love to play because I think you learn the best things when you're just playing and not following any rules, and you can just craft away and discover new things. So I'm going to stick this one on here. And then I'm going to take it from the bottom and kind of do that. See, now that looks kind of like a flower, and you could put that on there. You can also take some of your jersey from your t-shirt that you've pulled, and you want to get rid of the tail there that didn't pull. And you can also just twist and create kind of a flower. I would add glue in between. But you can create a little flower that way too. But you would want to be adding the glue, but that would make a flower also, and you could put the flower in the middle of that. I think I like it without. I would maybe add just a little single bead, but that way you can create a flower too. But I would be gluing it or sewing it as I'm doing it. But I think I really like this one. And I'm just going to glue it right on there. I was going to add the flower button with it, but I don't think I need to. And a good amount of glue right there. Decide where you want it. I know I want it on the gray area, and I'm letting it cool just a titch. And then I'm just going to place it on there and smush it as I do it. There. So I think that's cute too. So that's what I was going to show you today. I was just sharing how you can create something so easy with supplies you have, and keep some of those water bottles out of the landfill possibly, because I know we go through a lot of them, and I like to upcycle when I can. I'm going to switch this around, move this back, see if you guys had any questions. Sit back on my chair because I stand when I craft. I'll grab these so I can show them to you a little bit closer. These couple. Okay, Sandy, I know I missed most of the live, but we'll watch the replay. Thank you, Sandy. I agree. No button needed. Very cute flowers. Yes. Okay, so we took water bottles and cut them apart to create bangles. So you're going to want to measure putting it on. You don't want, like, when I make a bracelet, I make it like 6.5 inches. This is about 8.5 inches because it has to get over your entire hand, right? And you're adding stuff to it, so it makes it a little thicker. You can see better with this one, but you want to be able to get over your entire hand. And because it's a bangle, it kind of floats around, which is totally fine. So we took t-shirt material and just wrapped them. So you can see it better with the pink one. So you can see where it's overlapped. But the cool thing about using t-shirt fabric is it doesn't ravel. So you have no frayed edges. But on this one, I took and pulled the t-shirt strips to make that thinner, rounded, longer, and I wrapped those around after. So this was wrapped with the light gray. I did the light gray around it, and then I did the pink around it and added that cute little flower. I'm gonna make a few, soaking my milk carton now. Yeah, you can use a milk carton. Like, if you don't have water bottles, you can use what you have. I mean, you can use, cottage cheese containers. You know, you just need something that's a little sturdy. You don't wanna use, like, a cereal box because it's cardboard and it will bend. You just want something a little sturdier. But milk carton, yeah, just cut it into strips and measure it so that it's the length you want. But I think this is fun. Like, I'll have my granddaughters do this, and I know they'll love it. And then I took and used up some of my fabric testing things that I have a supply of, and I love this one. I don't think it needs anything on there. I don't think it needs, if I was gonna put something, I think it would have to be something in silver, and maybe I would put some silver cording around it, and maybe that would be pretty. But I love that it just shows off the paint, right? And then this is a background I did for a denim jacket I did. And I had fabric left over. There's a thread there I need to trim. But this is just showing off an ink blending technique and a bunch of really cool art stamps. This one, I don't feel like it's finished. This one, I think it needs something else. The teal and turquoise bracelet is beautiful. Yeah, I love the teal one. And then there's this one. Just a simple button bead. And nobody would know, like, if you were out, nobody would know that this wasn't a bangle, right? That's a water bottle bangle. It's just depends what you put on it, but there's so much you can do. I would love for you guys to try it and share it in our Do You Love to Craft group so we can see what you're making, because they're just fun and easy to do. And like Karen, she's going to use a milk jug. I mean, you can use anything you want to create the bangle. Like I said, I take and cut it and overlap it and tape it. You can, if you want, you can use a different kind of tape and tape around it, tape around the outside. So you make sure it's really secure. Because this is so lightweight, you can even put punches in it if you wanted to thread something in and out of it or have a different kind of closure. So there's so much you can do with them. But I just wanted to give you guys an idea. and share something with you. I will not be here next week. Lisa will be here at noon Central Time doing her live. I will be traveling. I am going to a trade show. I leave next Tuesday. And I will be on the show floor Wednesday. So if I am able to come live from the show floor, it always depends how loud it is and everything. But I will have my iPad and my phone. And I do plan on coming live from the show floor. So the show is Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday. It's the H&H America show. It is a lot of fun. I had a booth there last year. I did not do a booth this year because there was just so much going on. But I will come live during the show when I can, and if I find something really cool. If it's not working for me to come live, I will film and share it later. But I know that there's a lot of fun things at that show. It is more of a fiber art show. I never knew there were so many yarn companies in my life as when the first time I went to the H&H show. I think that was 5 years ago. They had, there must have been 200 booths that were just yarn, which is amazing. I mean, they're hand dyed, they're hand spun, they're beautiful and gorgeous. But last year was great because there were some hard crafts in there and a lot of quilting. So I'm excited for that. So I will be traveling next week. And then the following week, I will also be traveling, and I will be at the NAMTA show. The NAMTA show, I gotta see which day I leave. Maybe I will be here that Wednesday, but I'll come to you live from the NAMTA show too, because there's all the fun things you guys need to see. So thank you for joining me. I hope you try the water bottle bracelets because they're easy and they can be so fun. And Isabel, I can't wait to see you make one and add your embroidery touches to it. That will be fun to see. So thank you all. I am not doing a giveaway today because Lisa didn't tell me who the winner was. So next week she will do 2 giveaways. So like, comment, and share this video with hashtag Bella Crafts to enter for next week. And the entries go until next Tuesday at midnight. So if you're watching on replay, you still have a chance to win. So there's no worries there. And just remember to take some time to craft because it's good for your soul. And we will see you next week. Have a fun, creative week, everyone. And share what you're creating with us.